The
Done.
triangle is the world's strongest polygon, able to withstand large external pressures through the distribution of stress through the sides and the joints. When load is applied to one of the corners, the force is transferred down the adjacent side and shared across the structure. Just look no further than the Eiffel Tower, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, or Destiny's Child. By far at their strongest when it was just Michelle Kelly and Queen Bee. Time two, the Hunters Hill High School. Through the triangle of trust between students, staff and parents, the pressures are distributed and the incredible geometric strength achieved. Hello, I'm Mike Neild from the Welfare Team and welcome to the Community Connection Project. And today we're talking to a representative of the parental point in the triangle. And it's very exciting to have a person here with us who is deeply integrated into the fabric of the school. The Admiral of our fleet, the Premier of the dance ensemble, the first chair of the drum line, big dog of the hip hop crew, and the president of the Parent and Citizens Association, Jacqueline Crompton. Welcome.
Thank you. I don't think I've ever got that kind of welcome before. I'm glad you're recording it.
Oh yeah, it's great to have you here, my friend. Now, so have you been connecting with anyone, Jacqueline, in the community?
Yes. So I've been connecting a number of ways. The most important way for me is one-on-one walks that are allowed within the public health orders. We call them walk and talks. So I'm doing that with my close personal friends, but also some of them are parents at the school. So on the weekend, Jess Kimber and I had a nice walk and talk for an hour.
Yeah.
I'm finding that's a really good way just to keep saying, to get outside, to exercise, and to have that very real connection with your friends, because it's just exhausting being at home all the time, and it's exhausting everything every day, just sort of merging from one day to the next without any of the normal punctuation marks that we have in our routine. So that's been, I think, the most important thing, and I've been encouraging the kids to do that as well, always sort of one-on-one. And they got the 5-kilometre map, which I called like the Hunger Games boundary they were allowed to play within. And so they know which of their friends are within that 5 kilometres, and we encourage them to ride their bikes or go walk and see their friends in the same way. And we're doing online connections as well. We've got family interstate. My parents, now we can't meet them because they're outside the 5 kilometres. So that's been a real change for them. So we're trying to do that. And we had a Zoom dinner party on the weekend with some other friends where we all got dressed up, sat down at the dinner table properly, linked up on Zoom and had a night together, so to speak. And that was actually really cheerful. It really uplifted our spirits. So it was, I think it requires us to be a little bit more inventive and maybe take initiative where usually you don't need to. And that can be hard sometimes to take the initiative, but yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, worth the investment, Jacqueline. That sounds excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot of introverts who are quite happy with this arrangement.
Finally, that time has come.
Yeah. I'm an extrovert, so I find this quite taxing. But I think for some people, they might be actually quite comfortable spending more time at home. But so you just have to do what feels right for you.
Yeah, beauty. Nice point. All right, now, so you made the choice of all the wonderful learning institutions in this great city to send your 3 precious darlings to us at Hunters Hill High School. And could you tell us a bit about why you did that?
Yeah, sure. I have spoken about that before at some of the, orientation days and things like that. For us, it was really important. Co-education was sort of not negotiable for our family. We've got a son and then 2 daughters, and we really wanted them all at the same school. And for us personally, a secular education was also really important. And, there's sort of no perfect school. So we did a lot of hand-wringing about what the options were and where we should go. And I think the other thing that was important to us is being in the local community and the kids being quite close to their school. We didn't really want them up at 6 a.m. and out the door at 6:30. My husband grew up in Darwin, so school for him was a 5-minute bike ride, and the whole Sydney commute thing is still an anathema to him. So when we looked at what were the most important priorities, what were things we didn't want to compromise on, we thought that Hunters Hill High was probably the way that we should go. And then we sent Charles, and he was very happy. He's finished now, like he did the HSC last year, but he and his friends are still super tight. So there's a big group of them and they still catch up online. In fact, of the whole family, he's the one who's most connected all the time to the most people. And the girls have had a good journey through Hunters Hill High as well. So we haven't regretted that decision.
Yeah, beautiful. And so, I mean, in light of that, could you just tell me what it's been like as a parent for the last term in a remote environment?
Yeah, I think it's hard being a parent of a teenager anyway. Like there's that baseline that's hard, but I think some of the things that have been good is that hello.
This is Patterson just stepping in.
Hey there.
You want to say hi to Jacqueline? Look up here. All right, take that.
Well, I think you demonstrated some difficulties.
Incredible timing.
Yeah, no, I think some of the things that have been difficult is you know, you want the kids to have a sense of routine, and it's really hard for them, and it's really hard for us as well. I am really grateful that I don't have little kids. Like, I think trying to work from home and have little children, or have like preschoolers, toddlers, or even primary school kids would be even harder. So I feel actually quite lucky we've got teenagers.
Yeah.
But I think it's been a pick your battles moment. So, you know, on a normal school day, the girls should be up and out and having breakfast and dressed and everything by 8 and out the door for the bus. Whereas at home, we've kind of let go of that. Like, as long as they're online at the right time, we're not, at first we're like, you need to be up and have breakfast. And now we're like, you just need to be online on time. And however you get there is up to you. So if you roll out of bed 5 minutes before, and that's okay for you, as long as you are not missing the key things. I think that's been an important thing, to be a little bit flexible.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, on a normal school day, they had to be out the door to get the bus. So, so we're trying to be flexible, but at the same time have, you know, good expectations about what they need to do to keep going, and to not lose sight of their commitments and their growth and their belonging to the school. So it's that sort of fine balance between those two things. And the other thing is, we're going okay, everyone all in the same house, but, you know, we're pretty lucky where we live. I think there are a lot of people, maybe in our school community and across New South Wales, where their circumstances aren't the same. We've all got a laptop. That's not the same in every family. So I think trying to be as kind to each other as possible, given the difficulty of everyone being at home all the time, which we're not used to, is really important. And sometimes that can be hard because you just get on each other's nerves. So trying to keep routine, trying to get the kids out of their rooms is also important, and also not trying to intrude too often. So, you know, one of my daughters is like, you keep coming into my room. So, yeah, it's just lots of fine balances. And I think consciously parenting, like really thinking every day what you're doing, is important, because there's no roadmap for this, and it's not exactly normal parenting. So it's a bit harder for everyone.
Yeah, you are describing a very complex series of decisions to be made there to find appropriate compromise and balance between all these different conflicting parts. I mean, it is genuinely complicated. And I think that probably, regardless of all the differences that you've highlighted, maybe everyone's experiencing the complication of how exactly do you navigate this brand new situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And how you navigate it depends on each family and also each child. So it's not like there's a rule book that you can follow. I just think there are a few key principles about making sure that the kids stay engaged, that fundamental principle that they stay engaged with their friends and they stay engaged with school. How you achieve that, I think you have to think it through. But I think you have to consciously think it through. It's not going to be something that happens osmotically. You really have to think about how you can lift them and keep them going. And you know, there's peaks and troughs. So there are some days where the kids are all snap, crackle and pop, and there are other days where you can see they're really low energy, or, you know, they're tired, or they're bored, or they've just had enough. And, you know, just trying to manage that is hard, and working and trying to manage ourselves as well. Yeah. So
incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. Now, this is what I'm very excited to hear about. As someone who might have a little bit of a vision or an insight into what's going on at Hunters Hill High School, is there something that excites you about the future, about our school?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I've said before in other forums that, you know, Hunters Hill High is a school on the rise. That is very much the case, and you could really feel it when we were all there. It's harder to feel it while we're all scattered to the wind like this. But
Yeah.
you know, I've been at Hunters Hill High since 2014, and so I've seen the very real, very obvious difference in the way the school is being managed, in the expectations of the students, of the student engagement and the parent engagement. And I had the privilege of participating in the external validation for the school last week. So for people who don't know, the school actually has an assessment validation process, and we have lifted. So the external parties that are judging our school's performance recognise that, in fact, we're doing a lot of things across a lot of metrics much better than we had done 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I certainly credit Mr. Lil with that, and the executive team he's created, and all the staff, and the way he's bringing the staff together. And it's really exciting being a part of that. So, you know, my son, who was in year 12 last year, he and his mates marveled at some of the things that my daughter in year 7 was doing, because they were like, we never did that. So, and it's true. It seems to be a much more sophisticated, much more engaging environment than it was 5 years ago, and that is exciting to be a part of that. And things like the sailing program are really cool. That's a really thinking outside the square, using the resources thing that I think is very unusual and is particular to our school and how our school runs. And even last year, I feel really sorry for the year 12s this year. I feel so sorry for them. Their year is even harder than what it was last year. And as a year 12 parent last year, we really felt all the things those kids were missing out on.
Yes.
But again, the school thought outside the box in terms of how to do a graduation ceremony and how to do a year 12 formal. And it was really thinking outside the box, and lots of schools didn't get to do that. And I was really proud that we were a community that did, you know, employ the four C's in very real terms, not just in the classroom, but in everything. And unfortunately, I think the circumstances this year is that no matter how much we think outside the square at the moment is really confined by those public health orders. So this year's year 12 has an even harder path. But, you know, PNC meeting just last night, I think it was, all days merging to each other now. The PNC meeting last night, Michelle Donovan, our deputy principal, was saying they've got a few plans for year 12 to try and make it special. And again, that's the same instinct and the same capability. And yeah, it is actually really exciting.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good news. All right. Well, just go in there. It'll start in a tick. I'll be almost done. You want to say hello this time?
Hi.
Bye.
Thanks, Pat. The last thing I'd like to hear is, do you have a message you think you'd like to just send out to the Hunters Hill community?
Oh, I don't want to sound pompous by having a it's like, here's mine. But I think a lot of people hear all the time, we're in this together, and that is true to an extent that we are, but in other ways, we're all going on different journeys, and we have different difficulties and hurdles to face to get through this. But I really hope that people are kind to themselves, that they see that there is help, and that they feel that they can ask for help if they need any kind of help along the way. I'm really glad that there is a plan to get back to campus next term. I don't know what that'll look like. I don't think we're going to be all back all at once. Yeah. So, and I think the moving goalposts are just exhausting people. You've got hope and then it's dashed, and you've got hope and then it's dashed. So my message would be to people that the school, that I hope they stay connected to each other. I hope they still have that sense of purpose associated with the school. And that hopefully, no matter how hard the journey is for individual families, that we will all be back together and we will be doing slightly normal things, hopefully just next term. Yes. And to please ask for help, because the school has published avenues for getting help if they need, or just the simple thing of going on a walk with one of your closest friends and talking to them might be the help you need, and just to keep you going. So take that initiative.
It's great, Jacqueline. Yeah, really great, and wonderful for me, and I hope others to hear the parental point of view is something that I feel like I just don't quite understand. obviously, 3-year-olds aside. So that's So thanks very much for sharing it, and thanks for being our president.
No, it does feel like a privilege. It's a very worthwhile use of my time, and I would encourage anyone who wants a plug for the PNC, anyone who wants to come along. Our PNC meetings are spectacularly short at the moment, so but you do still learn a lot. So yeah.
Beauty. Well, thanks for being part of this Community Connection project, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.